It's the end of the month. You check your bank account, and somehow, you have less money than you thought you would. You made money. You know you made money. But it's like your paycheck hit your account and just evaporated. And you're sitting there thinking, where did it all go? You start scrolling through your transactions, and it's like $20 here, $15 there, a subscription you forgot about, another one you definitely forgot about, and then one charge that you genuinely don't even recognize. And the worst part, this isn't the first time. This is every month. This is just your life now. And somewhere in the back of your mind, this voice says, I'll figure it out eventually. Next month, I'll get serious. But next month comes, and nothing changes. Here's the thing. What if I told you that 3 months from right now, your financial situation could look completely different? Not in some vague motivational poster kind of way. I mean structurally different, measurably different. And it doesn't require you to get a raise, start a business, or do anything drastic. It requires you to understand a few things that nobody taught you about how money actually works in your day-to-day life. My name is Lewis, and I spend way too much time thinking about personal finance systems, spending psychology, and the math behind building wealth from zero. If you're someone who feels like you're stuck in a cycle of earning money just to watch it disappear, and you're ready to actually break that cycle, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. All right, let's get into this. So the first thing I need to challenge here is the idea that changing your finances takes years. Look, building wealth takes years. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But changing your financial trajectory, the direction your money is heading, that can happen fast. And 3 months is more than enough time. Here's what most people don't realize. A study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that roughly 60% of Americans couldn't cover a $1,000 emergency expense without borrowing. 60%. And this isn't just low-income households. This includes people making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. The problem isn't income. The problem is the system. More accurately, the complete lack of a system. And that's actually good news, because it means you don't need more money to fix this. You need a better structure. And structure can be built in weeks, not years. Let me walk you through exactly how this works across 3 months. Month 1 is what I call the awareness phase. And I know that sounds basic, but stay with me, because this is where most people mess up before they even start. They skip this step entirely. They go straight to budgeting, straight to cutting expenses, and within 2 weeks, they quit because it feels restrictive and miserable. Here's what you actually do in month 1. For the first 2 weeks, you don't change anything about your spending. Nothing. You just track it. Every single dollar. And I don't mean you glance at your bank statement at the end of the month. I mean daily. You look at what you spent, and you categorize it into 3 buckets: needs, wants, and waste. Now, needs and wants are obvious, but waste? That's the category that changes everything. Waste is money you spent that didn't even make you happy. It's the DoorDash order you got because you were too tired to think, and then the food was mediocre at best. It's the subscription you used once, 3 months ago. It's the impulse buy at Target that's still sitting in a bag somewhere. The average American spends somewhere between $400 and $700 a month on pure waste. Not wants, waste. Money that bought them zero happiness, zero value, zero utility. When you actually see that number for your own life, something clicks. You don't need some guru to tell you to spend less. You can literally see the money that's doing nothing for you. Now, you might be thinking, Luis, tracking every dollar sounds exhausting. And yeah, it's not the most thrilling activity. But here's the analogy I always use. If you were losing blood and didn't know where the wound was, would you just shrug and hope it stopped? No, you'd look for the wound. That's what month 1 is. You're finding the wound. Month 2 is the architecture phase. This is where it gets really interesting, because this is where you build what I call your money system. And once it's built, it runs on autopilot. Here's the framework. On the day you get paid, the actual day, your money should be automatically split before you ever see it in your checking account. You set up automatic transfers to at least 3 places. First, a bills account that covers all your fixed expenses: rent, utilities, insurance, phone, subscriptions you're actually keeping. You calculate that exact number, and that exact amount moves out immediately. Second, a savings or emergency fund account. And here's where the math matters. If you make, let's say, $4,000 a month after taxes, and your fixed expenses are $2,200, that leaves you $1,800. Most people just leave that $1,800 sitting in checking and spend it unconsciously over the month. Instead, you're going to move at least 20% of your take-home, so $800, into savings automatically, day one, before you can touch it. That leaves you $1,000 for the entire month to spend on whatever you want: food, entertainment, going out, hobbies, whatever. That's your fun money. And here's the psychological trick. Because it's clearly your money to spend guilt-free, you actually enjoy spending it more. There's no anxiety. There's no "should I buy this" spiral. You already saved. You already paid your bills. This money is yours. Now, you might be thinking, $1,000 for the whole month isn't that much. And you're right, it's not lavish. But here's what I want you to understand. In the awareness phase, you probably discovered that you were spending $1,400 to $1,600 a month on discretionary stuff, and $400 to $700 of that was pure waste that didn't even register as enjoyment. So living on $1,000 of intentional spending often feels better than $1,500 of mindless spending. That's not me being philosophical. That's psychology. Research from Cornell University found that intentional purchases produce significantly more satisfaction than impulsive ones, regardless of the dollar amount. Month 3 is the acceleration phase. This is where momentum takes over, and things start to feel different, like genuinely, noticeably different. By week 9, if you followed this system, here's what your numbers look like. You've saved around $2,400 in 2 months. For a lot of people watching this, that's more than they've ever had in savings. Federal Reserve data shows that the median savings account balance for Americans under 35 is about $1,200. So in 2 months, you've potentially doubled what most people your age have saved in their entire adult lives. But the money isn't even the most important part. The most important part is the identity shift. See, there's this concept in behavioral psychology called identity-based habits. It comes from James Clear's research on habit formation. The idea is that when you repeat a behavior long enough, you don't just do the thing. You become the type of person who does the thing. After 2 months of automatically saving, paying bills on time, and spending intentionally, you stop being someone who's trying to get better with money. You become good with money. And that identity shift changes every financial decision you make going forward. In month 3, you take it further. You look at your spending data from the past 8 weeks and find one major expense you can optimize. Maybe it's your rent. Can you negotiate, get a roommate, or move somewhere slightly cheaper when your lease ends? Maybe it's your car payment. Can you refinance at a lower rate? Maybe it's food. Not eating out less, but meal prepping in a way that genuinely saves you $200 a month without making you miserable. One optimization. That's all. Find one recurring expense and reduce it by even $150 a month. That's an extra $1,800 a year. Combine that with the $800 a month you're already saving, and in your first year, you'll have saved $11,400 from a system you built in 3 months. Let me say that again. $11,400 saved in 1 year. No raise, no side hustle, just structure. Now look, I have to be honest with you about something. Most people who watch this video won't do any of this. And it's not because they're lazy or dumb. It's because of two psychological forces working against them. The first is present bias. Our brains are literally wired to prioritize what feels good right now over what benefits us in the future. Saving $800 today means $800 less to spend today, and your brain processes that as a loss, even though future you would be ecstatic to have that cushion. The second force is environmental friction. Your financial environment is designed to make you spend. Every app, every notification, every one-click purchase button, it's all engineered to reduce the friction between you and spending money. So when you build this system, you're not just managing money, you're fighting against billion-dollar companies whose entire business model depends on you being impulsive. That's why the automation piece is non-negotiable. You can't rely on willpower, because willpower is a depleting resource. You automate so that the default behavior, the thing that happens if you do nothing, is the financially smart thing. You have to make the right choice, the easy choice. Here's where I want to leave you with some perspective that should genuinely excite you. If you save $800 a month and invest it in a broad market index fund, averaging, let's say, a conservative 8% annual return, in 10 years, you'd have roughly $147,000. In 20 years, over $470,000. And that's starting from zero. That's starting from the person who 3 months ago couldn't figure out where their money was going. The gap between you right now and the financially secure version of you isn't some massive, impossible leap. It's a series of small structural changes, executed consistently over a relatively short period of time. 3 months to build the system. Then, you just let it run. So let me ask you this. 3 months from now, you're going to be somewhere. You're going to be in some financial position. The question is, will it be the same one you're in right now, or will you have actually done something about it? The steps are simple. Month 1, track and identify your waste. Month 2, build your automated money system. Month 3, optimize and accelerate. That's it. That's the whole framework. If this video helped you see your finances differently, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. I make videos like this every single week to help you understand not just what to do with your money, but why your brain makes it so hard to do it. Drop a comment below and tell me what month you're starting in. I want to hear from you. And if you want to go deeper on the automation system I talked about, I've got a video right here that breaks it down step by step. I'll see you in the next one.